Hello and welcome back to Who Watches Who. We've returned from our month-long break, essentially. Although it didn't really feel like a break because we still recorded, we just didn't release anything. But welcome back to your weekly scheduled Who Watches Who podcast. I am Matthew, and I am joined, as always.
I am Scott. Hello, good evening or morning or wherever you're listening to this.
Yes, good time of day. How's the weather? Lovely. It's the end of the month, and the end of the month means the news roundup podcast. We didn't actually do one for December, did we? Because it's Christmas and New Year. There's no time to do it.
Everything was hectic, and we didn't bother. But we're here again.
We're here with the January news, and there's quite a surprisingly amount of a fair amount of news this month. It's less news, more crazy rumor mill.
Yeah, there is a lot of rumor mills. By the time this episode comes out, we've probably missed some. There's probably going to be more tomorrow, the next day, and all that. But we're recording this on Tuesday, so if we're not up to date in the rumors, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a new rumor every 4 hours at this point.
Yes, it's insane, but we don't know which ones to trust. But yeah.
The key is don't trust any of them because there'll be different rumors in a month's time. They won't stop changing. You got to think we're pretty far away still from the 60th anniversary release, a year away, and it's January.
Yes.
We have a whole heap more of rumors to come our way before we even learn anything. But shall we start with the biggest rumor that we saw?
Yes, of course.
This week, Scott.
Do you want to take it, or should I take it?
I guess I'll take it. So we saw. You sent me a message, if I remember correctly, and then I went onto Facebook and I saw that everywhere. David Tennant's the 14th Doctor. Crazy. I could have sworn that David Tennant had already been the Doctor, but clearly I was mistaken because he's going to be the 14th, and I think it's pretty spot on casting. Yeah. I think he could portray the Doctor pretty well, if I'm being honest. I think he's got the range in him to pull off the role.
Yeah, we know he's been a big fan for years, but he's never gotten a chance to play the character before. He got big off of nothing, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he just kind of appeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what he did to make him get to really put him in the limelight, in the public eye, but it's good that Doctor Who's finally given him a shot. That rookie David Tennant.
But yeah, the original source of the rumour suggests Tennant would be the Doctor for just 3 specials, and then another actor would take over after as the 15th Doctor. And the tip was spotted on a Facebook fan page in which a user suggested a credible BBC source had leaked the information. The user claims this source is the same person who leaked the casting of Sacha Darwin as the Doctor's nemesis, the Master, in Series 12. And also rumoured is a potential return of Catherine Tate to star alongside Tennant. However, this rumour suggests she will not be playing Donna.
She'll be playing Rose.
That'd be wild.
Her hair's red, so it's more accurate to the name.
But yeah, the number one tip, but this is a big load of shit. It's from a Facebook fan page, just some random dude on a Facebook fan page, and somehow this has blown up on Twitter.
I would also argue that it makes zero sense.
Yeah, I know.
As just from plotting and structure wise, why would you bring David Tennant back for 3 specials just to regenerate him again? If you're going to bring him back as the Doctor, just bring him back at that point. You're already breaking a golden rule of Doctor Who, so why not go the whole way? There was it might be written down here, but there was the rumor about Davis doing spin-off shows with previous versions of the Doctor.
Yeah, that's our next topic.
Yeah, and I could 100% see David Tennant coming back for that.
Yes.
Coming back for 3 specials of that series as the Doctor.
The idea of doing the 14th Doctor just for 3 specials and it being someone else we already know is just ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. But him playing the 10th Doctor is 100% possibility. So yeah, we know the new series. We know Russell T Davies wants to start shooting in spring, and that's when David Tennant stopped shooting Good Omens. So it lines up reasonably, perfectly well.
Yeah. But he's the 14th Doctor. It's confirmed.
And also Catherine Tate probably won't be coming back.
Yeah, no, and even if she did come back, why would she? It's Donna's twin. Donna's no, it's Donna's cousin. Sorry, Donna's cousin. Just like what Martha did. That's how she'll come back. Donna's cousin. So stupid.
Yeah. But yeah, our
Right.
next story is more rumors. Do you want to take this one, or should I read it?
I'll take it. According to The Sun, it is understood the BBC is having a break in order to have a complete reboot when Russell T Davis's first episode airs in 2023. To quote here, I understand the BBC One show's news. I understand the BBC One show's new team. Okay, there we go. I understand the BBC One show's new team I can read are considering having a break for a complete reboot between Jodie's final episode as the Time Lord and her yet to be revealed replacement hopping aboard the TARDIS. TV Insider states the new team are considering a range of radical options in a bid to revive the flagging fortunes of a program which is adored by millions around the world. That could see them take the decision to put space between Jodie's time in the TARDIS and that of her successor, which means she may not be seen regenerating. She has already wrapped filming on this year's special episodes, and a new Time Lord has yet to be revealed. So just before I keep reading there, a thing on that they're trying to pull off as like it's evidence that we're going to be jumping in like halfway through the next Doctor's regeneration. We're not going to see who it is. Jodie explained that the way that Capaldi's regeneration went is that they weren't on set at the same time, and that's just how they shoot them now. Probably because it's easier on special effects and also easy on casting, where they don't have to rush the Doctor's casting to get the Christmas special done in time.
Yeah, that's always pretty much been the case. We shoot the scenes separately. It makes more sense that way. But yeah, I can picture it being like with the second Doctor's regeneration, where we don't actually see the Doctor regenerating into the next Doctor.
I think I would like to see them regenerate, and then in the next series just cut ahead in time, so that rather than, because how many times can you tell the story of, oh, the Doctor's just regenerated, now they're going to go sleep for an episode, and you don't get to know who they are until the next episode, and then they love genocide. But, every single Doctor of the modern era, we've seen regenerate, and we've watched from that regeneration till the end of their life, where they're sleepy to start with, and then they destroy the TARDIS in their regeneration, and it's all spectacular. Why not just have a regeneration, and then the Doctor goes, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just continue on my adventures.
But yeah, another source states what we could see between after Jodie regenerates and between the next Doctor starting. We could another source states that Russell T Davies seemingly wants to bring the old casual audience back for his 60th, a spin-off show with each story unconnected, revisiting old characters from the show history. The continuation of a Timeless Child arc, a behind-the-scenes show similar to Confidential, airing on BBC Three and or BBC iPlayer. The BBC have responded to this weekend's rumours. There's lots of exciting plans in store, but viewers will just have to keep going. Viewers are just going to have to wait to see. Sorry.
See, I thought I couldn't read. We spoke a bit about the spin-offs a few minutes ago, but I really think the ideas of a spin-off show that is like an anthology series of Doctor Who is a great idea. The behind-the-scenes TV program is a great idea. The continuation of the Timeless Child arc is a terrible idea.
But, I think the Timeless Child arc could be well handled under a different writer, Like, if we just have one story...
I think it's done. I think the Timeless Child arc is done. The Doctor killed their mother. They fixed the flux. They went, who are my parents? You stole that from me. And I guess they're just Rey Skywalker now. There's not going to be a satisfying answer to who the Doctor's parents are. And you're just going to have to say it's Palpatine's clone son that he forgot about. And nobody's going to find that satisfying. So just leave it ambiguous and let people decide in their own head rather than trying to answer it.
But yeah, I can imagine like one spin-off series, one spin-off special where it's the Fugitive Doctor and we get to know more about what the Vision is and the Doctor's secret past and that kind of stuff.
I'd be on board for like seeing the Fugitive Doctor going around murdering folk or whatever it is they do when they're in the division. But just don't bother with the Timeless Child's kind of storyline. Just do like here they are, the Doctor in the division. It's a bit funky, and I could get on board with that. But we'll just have to wait and see, as the BBC says, and as they're frantically are patting away the sweat that they managed to save Doctor Who before getting all their funding cancelled.
But I think doing these one-off specials could be more interesting than doing a 60th anniversary with a brand new Doctor, because when you do a brand new Doctor, you have to establish what personality this Doctor has, and it has to eat so much time into the anniversary special.
Possibly, but could you think of a better handoff to being the next Doctor than having every incarnation of the Doctor before you be like, you are the Doctor now, we will raise you up and help you find out who you are and figure, like, that would be the biggest, like, ushering in this actor is playing the Doctor role that you could give them.
I don't know. I think it'd be an incredible risk, because you risk overshadowing the new Doctor with when David Tennant's on screen. Everybody will be thinking about David Tennant over the new Doctor.
Sink or swim, man. Sink or swim. Sink or swim. Try and hold your own against David Tennant as the Doctor in your first episode. Go.
I think the approach of doing like 4 or 5 specials next year rather than just doing one 60th anniversary special would be so much better. You could do a special on the Doctor revisiting Susan. You can do divisions.
Yeah.
You can do one about the division. You can do one about Unit. You can do a multi-Doctor special for the actual anniversary. There's so much possibilities.
My only thinking for it is, if they want to get a casual audience back, giving them a random episode with David Tennant, then a random episode with Matt Smith, then a random episode with Capaldi, it's really not going to get the casual audience back, because that's going to be confusing as hell to them. They're like, oh my god, David Tennant's back for the Doctor for one episode, I'll watch this one, and then not any of the other episodes. Because the casual audience didn't care about Doctor Who, they cared about David Tennant. They liked, if you ask anybody, I love David Tennant in the role. I stopped watching after he left. Why? Well, he was perfect. I just liked him. He was so charismatic, essentially, that people wanted to look at him. They didn't care what he was doing.
I think you could work in a way to have these separate, standalone stories connect somewhat to the 14th Doctor. Like, maybe there's something wrong with the 13th Doctor regenerating, something goes wrong, and the Doctors have to team up to save her or something. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I would just rather a classic 60th special, but that's because, I don't know, I'm boring. At least if they did the multiple, like, individual Doctor stories, we have a lot more podcast content, so...
If you remember, exactly 1 year ago, Russell T Davies says to the Radio Times that he wanted he thought the Doctor Who should have like an expanded universe, much like the MCU has. And this interview was around the time he would have started negotiations with the BBC to return to the show.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that's what Davis has always tried to do. Before the MCU was even a thing, you had Torchwood, you had Sarah Jane Adventures, you had regular old Doctor Who, you've got the audio dramas that have been going over. He was trying to make sure Doctor Who had these spin-offs, was reaching every audience possible, the kids. And, that was at Doctor Who's biggest point, when everybody watched Doctor Who, everybody had the cards, everybody knew who the Doctor was. So he understands what he's doing, because he's done it before.
And now he has creative control with Bad Wolf. Bad Wolf have creative control over the show, so he could just go haywire. He could just use the 60th anniversary as an excuse to test out these mini pilots. How about an episode with the 8th Doctor? Maybe a potential TV
bring him
series
back.
for him.
Let's bring it. Yeah, okay, I'm on board. I'm on board again. You've sold me. Let's bring him back. Paul McGann, here we go.
There are so many possibilities we could go with, and I am excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I just want Paul McGann back now. You've sold me on it.
Maybe I'm being a bit optimistic, but I would love to see some risks taken with the show.
Well, I would love to see the show's taken risks for sure.
Yeah.
I would just like to see the risks they take be good. Which is always a big ask when it comes to Doctor Who, but I have faith in old Russell the Davis.
So what do you think is the possibility of having a couple of 10th Doctor episodes, maybe one where he visits Susan again or something like that to connect to the old days of the show? I think that could work.
I think it would work really well. Although, I think I would want Capaldi to visit Susan. I don't know why. When you said visiting Susan, I don't think that fits David Tennant. I mean, to be fair, you could easily just slot it in when he was doing his season finale.
Yeah.
And going back to all his companions and just staring at them like, oh my god, I'm so sad. But I just thinking of like the way Capaldi wrapped things up with River Song. I would just like Capaldi to be the doctor that wraps things up, I guess. But I think he could do a pretty touching episode with Susan. And Capaldi's, like, David Tennant's obviously got the range, but Capaldi's got an incredible amount of range on him, especially when it comes to kind of really depressing stuff. You probably saw the music video when it came out. What's his face? Louis Capaldi's music video.
Yes.
That went super viral because everyone went, oh my god, this is going to make you cry. And then you watched it and went, yep, I'm crying now. Which has carried, the music itself is, I don't really care for it. But
never do I, but yeah, the video was great.
The video is great and Peter Capaldi's excellent in it. Although I don't know what I'd like to see David Tennant do when he comes back, you know? Maybe just a fun adventure with the Slovene. There we go. Oh, no, bring back Absorbaloff.
And to add to your point about maybe audiences being confused earlier, maybe you could just make this a spin-off, call it The Untold Tales of Doctor Who or something like that. I think that'd be a good introduction point to this 60th anniversary celebration. Because, as we know, Russell T Davies is planning to shoot in spring, which is way early for a 60th anniversary special, so he must have more planned than just a 60th anniversary next year.
Yeah, or it's just a lot of special effects. They're like, this is going to take so long to do, Russell. You've destroyed half the universe. We've only got a quarter of it left.
Either way, I'm excited to see what he does next. I'm excited.
Yeah, Doctor Who's in a very interesting point where the show is either about to reach like classic peaks of 2000, 2006, or 2000, 2005, 2006 level peaks where it's like everywhere, or it'll be like a kind of just a flop where only we care about it, which is what it's been like for the past, I don't know, decade at this point, since the 50th anniversary, basically.
Yeah, I think Matt Smith was the start of a drop-off. Then there was a little peak around the 50th anniversary, a little peak around Peter Capaldi, then it's just kind of dropped off again.
Yeah.
And that's nothing to do with the writing or anything like that. I think it's just everybody was so connected to David Tennant.
Yeah, and the show's been around since 2005.
Yeah.
You have to think, like, it is real. It's been around for so long. And you naturally will lose viewers. You'll bring in some new people that have watched it, but never going to reach the same peaks. You know, ups and downs. But if we could get back to those peaks, I'd be super impressed. And obviously would be all for it.
And it still has a very large audience, like worldwide. It's the BBC's most popular show still to this day. So
yeah, and the casual, quote unquote, casual audience, not the casual, like the dedicated fan base is what I'm trying to say. Like of UK viewers, because we don't know the international viewing statistics, but the like people that are invested in Doctor Who and watch it every time it's on is like 4 million people. Like that is more than most shows wish for. Like that's Doctor Who doing bad is 4 million, which is a pretty great viewing numbers. Yeah,
but do you want to go to our next story?
Yeah, Phil Collinson's returning. Brackets, yes. This is from the Radio Times. Phil Collinson is set to return to Doctor Who as a producer for the show's upcoming 14th season. The television producer, who worked alongside Russell T Davies in Doctor Who from 2005 until 2008, as well as It's a Sin, will be reuniting with the showrunner on the sci-fi show's 2023 season. Eagle Eye fans spotted a credit for Doctor Who's next run on Collinson's independent talent page, with the upcoming season described as currently in development. So I don't know a lot about Phil Collinson, other than he's worked with Russell T Davies on a bunch of good stuff, such as Doctor Who and It's a Sin. But really, it's only good news that we're bringing back in the, classic New Who people. And hopefully they've got fresh ideas, and they're not just going to be rehashing what they've already done, but I think it's a reset the show kind of desperately needs at this point.
I'm glad also Julie Gardner is coming back in some capacity as she owns Bad Wolf. So we're having the original trio back together, and I think it will only lead to good things. I think we all know that we can't just repeat what's come before, and we need to take new risks and new developments. And I think this will be a good time for a show.
Yeah. Did we also, speaking of Bad Wolf, did we talk about, maybe we did talk about it on the other news, Sony bought Bad Wolf.
I can't remember if we talked about that. It's been a while.
I don't remember. So Sony have bought Bad Wolf, which is just a huge investment, which is really, it's only good news for Doctor Who, because if we're trying to do the Doctor Who cinematic universe, if Sony own it, Doctor Who video games may become a bit more popular. You know,
and unfortunately,
and way less bad. Hopefully, unfortunately, I guess there'll be PlayStation exclusives. I myself am an Xbox kid, so I'll never play them.
Shame on you.
Unless they come to PC, because I'll play them on PC. Some Sony exclusive have been coming. We just got God of War like 3 years later. Yeah, no, Sony buying Bad Wolf was pretty big news when it happened, but I think it happened around Christmas time, so we probably ended up missing it. But yeah, that's cool.
and yeah, it just means technically Bad Wolf have a little bit more money now, because we can just borrow money from Sony, and
it's a bit more security as well. It's not like the production's getting shifted to Bad Wolf and then Bad Wolf immediately closed down because they run out of money. It's like, okay, they're in a secure company that's not really going to go away anywhere time soon.
Yeah, it's a good time to be a Doctor Who fan, hopefully.
Unless you're a fan of the animations. Oh, what a segue. What a segue.
Brilliant.
So the Doctor Who classic animations are not returning. The remaining Doctor Who animated specials, which have been restoring lost episodes for a new generation, have reportedly been scrapped by the BBC. This is a report from the Radio Times. The last entries in the series of releases include last year's The Evil of Daleks and Galaxy 4, following Patrick Troughton's second Doctor and William Hartnell's first Doctor, respectively. The collaborative project between BBC Studios and BBC America had made much progress towards giving die-hard Whovians a complete library of stories, but that looks like it may now be cut short. The Mirror reports that BBC America has pulled its funding from the project, meaning only the one story already in development will be released this year, The Abdominal Snowman, which recently dropped a teaser trailer. So, a total of 39 out of 97 missing episodes got animated.
Yeah, and it's almost half of them, so it's not quite as bad, but still, you would want to see it all the way completed. But the fact that Sony just bought Bad Wolf means they could potentially invest a couple of million into completing
possibly
this.
And maybe hire a better animation studio. I mean, no ill will towards the hardworking people that were doing it before, but the animation is what put me off watching those episodes for the longest time, because it obviously they're working within the restraints of their budget, but it is cheap looking animation.
The animation isn't that bad, but when you look at something like Fury of the Deep, which tried to do like a rotoscoped, like Christmas Carol Polar Express kind of animation, it didn't really work.
Yeah, and I think another issue with it is it's playing to such a niche audience.
Yeah,
and animation is so expensive to make. And so it's like a project you're going to make expecting it not to make money. I'm amazed it got 39 episodes, honestly. But it's cool they were doing it. Maybe in a couple years they'll pick it back up, but for now it looks like it's getting the old taken around the back of the shed.
I really want these animations to be complete, because they're not the best, but they're the best way of watching these lost stories, because those reconstructions where we just use set images are not accessible to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it being animated is just so much more convenient and just a way to bring these lost stories to a new generation.
I also want it back simply because it's a really cool way to restore lost media.
Yeah.
And, because just the way it was at the times, having that stuff get just completely discarded and not well looked after is a tragedy. And at least if you animate it and keep it, you keep a part of it alive, and if you can digitize it, it's there forever. That's why I'm really happy all Classic Who's on BritBox. Again, they don't pay us yet, but the fact it's all on BritBox means that it's not going to be getting destroyed. It's on the internet forever now. So it's that, what's the word I'm looking for? When you keep something throughout time. It starts with an R, I think. This is hard.
Restoration?
Kind of not so much I don't know. Essentially, I'm just glad it's that we could have it, and I like the idea of completing it, because not having it is kind of a tragedy. It's a loss of art. It's a loss of people's work. Yeah. Etc. etc.
Yeah, 100%.
But speaking of classic Doctor Who, another segue from me. Season 22's returning, this time on Blu-ray, once again from the Radio Times, who apparently are obsessed with reporting on Doctor Who news. Doctor Who has finally answered a question that's been plaguing fans for almost 40 years. What really happened to Perry? Nicola Bryant? Nicola Bryant. Nicola Bryant played companion Perry Brown opposite Colin Baker's Sixth Doctor in the 1980s. The character appeared to meet a dark fate in her final appearance as a series regular, the Doctor shoot her with a gun. In 1986 story The Trial of the Time Lord, the alien Kiv appeared to transplant his brain into Perry's body, effectively killing her. It was later suggested, however, that Perry had survived, that the evidence of her death had been faked, and that she was now living as queen to the warrior king Urankos, who was played by Brian Blessed. Fans have never actually saw this happen, however, with some remaining convinced that Perry had died, while others were just curious as to what exactly her life with the eccentric King Urankos would have entailed. 36 later, we finally got our answer as part of the trailer for the next classic Doctor Who Blu-ray set, The Collection, Season 22. Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, the trailer contains like a lovely short film that bookends the trailer for this 22nd season. It's a very interesting way to conclude a storyline that's being dropped and just not. So basically, the storyline was that Perry was trapped on a planet. She was killed, but last minute editions was like, no, we have to censor this. We can't have Perry die, so we have to keep her alive because otherwise it will traumatize the children. So yeah, we just wrote some half-assed explanation of what happened to Perry.
Excellent. That actually reminded me of a thing that came out today at the time of recording, which is the 25th of January. Did you see the news about Fight Club in China?
Yes.
Yeah, where they've changed the ending of Fight Club, where now it just goes to a black screen and essentially says the police discovered everything and arrested all the criminals and everybody lived. Which is really that's what Fight Club's about. I mean, after all, it's a movie about making soap, so.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Dear God.
Oh, what a weird place China is. Anyway, do you want to take this next one? I feel like this story really resonates with you.
I'm gonna have to get this bloody Blu-ray set because we're doing Attack of the Cybermen soon, and it's in this season, I think.
I'll just watch it on BritBox.
The next story is John Bishop saw that fan art, and if you don't know what we're talking about, good for you.
I'd love to live in your head for a day, but I'll describe it this way.
Yes.
John Bishop, his good friend. What was the dog called?
Carvanista.
His good friend Carvanista, who happens to be a giant furry dog. And on the internet, there's a subculture of people who really like giant furry things. Yep. And they express their love of the character Carvanista by showing Carvanista expressing his love to John Bishop.
Yeah.
If you...
Yeah, it was very awkward. So on the John Bishop show, John Bishop showed a segment where James Nesbitt and comedian Sarah Milken were guests, and in this clip, Bishop shares 4 pieces of art by Twitter user Curiosity Rocks of Dan and Carvanista, They begin with a pair sharing a drink and ultimately end up with a more explicit image of a pair embracing. Bishop joked he wouldn't use the final piece as his Christmas card, with his segment being part of a wider discussion on fan culture throughout the episode. Yeah, but this picture was broadcast on national television.
Pretty funny. That whole John Bishop show seemed like it was a pretty interesting watch. I never bothered to watch it, but there was a brief discussions about some of the topics online afterwards that I read into a bit. But yeah, it seemed like an interesting time.
And I think it's good of him just to have a good humor about this, because if I was him, I'd be like, what the hell is this fandom doing? Because if you remember, I woke up to it just being like, somebody tagged John Bishop in some furry art. What?
Pretty funny. But like to be fair, if you're involved with any pop culture product, you have to expect stuff like that. Like, do you think Chris Evans hasn't seen some horrendous drawings of himself?
Yeah, but think about it. This is like John Bishop's first proper acting role.
Yeah,
and it's just, it's like
he's a comedian. He's all he's looking at is he's looking at that and going, "Awesome, I've got more material."
Yeah, pretty disturbing stuff.
Yeah, speaking of disturbing stuff, comic books. Dan Slott, who is written Spider-Man and Fantastic Four, will be writing 3 annual one-shot Doctor Who stories, with the first set to release in April of this year. Slott will be focusing in the all-new 10th Doctor comic adventure with artist Christopher Jones, who has previously worked on Titans Doctor Who, the 3rd Doctor, Heralds of Destruction, and Doctor Who, the 7th Doctor, Operation Volcano. To quote some quotes here, this is an epic story that sees companion Martha Jones captured by the insatiable pyromyths, and her only hope for survival is to keep them distracted with sensational, untold tales of the 10th Doctor facing off against greatest foes, both classic and new. One of the worst secrets in comics is that I am one of the world's biggest Whovians, says Dan. I've been regularly watching Doctor Who since Tom Baker years, and I'm deeply devoted to every incarnation of the show. I've been waiting to write stories for the Doctor my whole life, and I couldn't be happier than getting a chance to tell an all-new tale of the 10th Doctor, and to be doing this with Chris and all the fine folks at Titan. Alon Z. Which proves that he's not a real fan. He was only a fan of David Tennant. Get him out of there.
Yeah, but if you continue reading, there will also be a backup strip written by Slott and drawn by Matthew Dow Smith, which will feature the 9th Doctor and Rose.
Man, Matt Smith's drawing art now? That's crazy.
And also this article ends with, looks like Dan Slott is having his multi-dimensional cake and eating it. So... Yeah, he's eating cake now. This is in shops April 20th, 2022. 420. Nice.
Yeah, nice. More Doctor Who comics, which is never a bad thing. It's a part of Doctor Who that I'm really probably not going to get into. But it's cool that it exists.
We'll probably read comics in this show at one point, but this is, again, more 10th Doctor stuff rather than doing the 13th Doctor. The 13th Doctor has been so neglected when it comes to books and comic books.
I've got a 13th Doctor book. I think there's only a couple, though.
Yeah,
and I think there was there's probably a fair few Doctor Who 13th Doctor comic books, but like main series Doctor Who comics. Not so much spin-off stuff, but there is a unbelievable, like an ocean's worth of 10th Doctor stuff, for sure. They just keep making it.
Like, I think there's like 4 13th Doctor books, and if you look at the 9th Doctor, he has 7 books. This is like 1 year, 7 books, compared to 3 years with 4 books. It's a massive difference. It's very bizarre for not keeping up with these books anymore.
People don't read.
Yeah, but what's the perfect way to make people read when writing good Doctor Who novels, you know?
Yeah. Well,
like when I was a kid, I would look in the library and just see all these Doctor... I would never read them, but I would see all these Doctor Who books, and they're like...
You've hit onto the problem, Scott. You've hit the problem right on the head there. Is you'd look at all the Doctor Who books and then not pick any of them up.
Yeah, I'd look at them and be like, I should read someday. I want to read.
That's why they've only made 4 Doctor Who books with Jodie, is because you're just looking at them. But speaking of comic books, we're getting a Fugitive Doctor comic. Jo Martin's The Fugitive Doctor is back in her own comic book series. The first issue will release for free on Free Comic Book Day, which is the first Saturday of May. Titan Comics said that this is an epic adventure with the traveling Time Lord. Get Patrick out of the goddamn part I'm reading, you smelly man. Scott is messing with the Google Docs again. An epic adventure with the traveling Time Lord. This issue serves as a lead in the... You've thrown me off. See, I was doing so well. You've thrown me off completely. Let's start the sentence again. Titan Comics said this is an epic adventure with the traveling Time Lord. This issue serves as a lead into the explosive new story arc that reveals the very early years of the Doctor. Past, present, and future all collide in a Doctor Who tale that's out of this universe. The comic is written by Jodie Hauser, who did Spider-Man and Stranger Things comics, with art by Roberta Ingaranta. Sorry if I pronounced that name wrong. A lot of Spider-Man writers are coming on to Doctor Who, and by that I mean 2.
But it's very weird coincidence we both jump on Doctor Who comics at exactly the same time.
Is it a coincidence because Sony just bought Bad Wolf Productions?
Yeah, but Disney owned the Spider-Man comics, so, you know.
Why'd you have to ruin my fun, Scott?
Because I want to. But yeah, more Fugitive Doctor. Hopefully they can explain some sort of reason why she exists and who she is. More than the show, hopefully. Like,
it's Division, isn't it?
I just wonder how they'll approach this, because I wonder if there's any discussions with Chris Chibnall on ways to keep the comics canon.
They don't care about the comics continuity. It's the sort of thing. I imagine it's a lot like the Star Wars books. So the Star Wars books try to stay as close to canon as possible, but if something happens in the films or TV shows that contradicts the books, the film and TV shows take precedent over the books. Yeah. So it's like that part of the book isn't canon. So it's essentially kind of like a free for all. I just hope you get it right.
But yeah, more Fugitive Doctor. That's interesting because we really haven't seen the Fugitive Doctor on screen that much. She's been in like 4 episodes and only really had 1 episode to do stuff in.
Well, she was in Flux as a reflection.
Yeah. That's yeah, we didn't really get much of her in Flux. She just stood in her room, talked to Jodie for like 2 minutes and then left. Yeah. Oh well. She kept on flickering between Jodie. Like, she didn't even get to do her own lines.
Yeah. Yeah. God, Flux was weird. God, Flux. Remember how excited we were for Flux?
Oh god, yeah. And I wonder, I'm sure they'll bring back the Fugitive Doctor, but yeah, there's nothing to do with her anywhere. You can't do much of her because you can't. I don't know. I want to see more Fugitive Doctor. I want to understand what the fuck is going on.
Well, write to Russell T Davis when he does the spin-off show. Give us more Fugitive Doctor, please, Russell the Davis. And he'll be like, no, Scott, you smell.
That's understandable.
But I lost my voice there. Shall we move into the Big Finish releases of this month then?
Hell yes.
So, February 2022. It's a pretty packed release schedule for Big Finish this month, my goodness. But they're kicking things off with the Doctor Who 9th Doctor Adventures. It's Christopher Eccleston's back for more with old friends, and it's got to be the worst Christopher Eccleston cover I've seen Big Finish do so far.
Yeah, it's a fine looking cover, but
it's
compared to the other ones, it's pretty boring. You got
it's just three white dudes and a TARDIS.
You got Christopher Eccleston on the left, and then you got the Earth in the middle with the TARDIS hovering above it. Then you got an old looking photo of the Brigadier suggesting it's going to be set in like the early 2000s, I guess. And then you've got what's the actor's name again? Warren Brown as a character who's been in the Unit series at Big Finish, but the picture they used on this cover was when he was in the actual show Doctor Who. He was in Praxeus as a different character, but we've used this different character photograph of him on the cover, even though he's not playing that character here. It's really confusing.
Gotta love Big Finish's art team. They're really like creative with like they have limited photographs. Like the amount of photos they've got of Eccleston looking young is not a lot, and they're managing to do quite. So I'll let them get off with using the wrong character for a different profile. It's the same dude's face.
They could get the dude in the studio for like 5 minutes and just be like, yeah, let's take photographs. I guess COVID. Yeah, that's a reason for not having him. But also the colors are pretty. It's nice and
it's a nice purple. But this 3 brand new adventures featuring Christopher Eccleston as the Ninth Doctor. Traveling the universe alone, the Doctor can't help running into people. Some are new acquaintances, and some have a much longer history back through all his lives. We've got the episode titles. Actually, I want to talk about here for a sec. We've got Fond Farewell, which is a pretty interesting sounding title. Way of the Buryman, which is fine, but then it's the 4th generation, which has the Brigadier in it, which I kind of like as a title. It sounds pretty cool.
The last 2 have the Brigadier in it. For the last 2 are two-parters, much how Series 1 ended in a 2-parter. And also the first one's about the Doctor attending his own wake, which is very fascinating. I'm very looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Cannot wait to listen to Eccleston's box sets. We weren't super... Oh, spoilers for next week. We've got our review, actually. I'm not going to tell you what we thought, but we've got our review for Christopher Eccleston's box set coming out next week. That would be the 3rd one. I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, Lost Warriors.
Lost Warriors, that was it. Yeah, we've got that review coming out next week. So I'm looking forward to this one. So far, I've been pretty impressed with the Big Finish box sets Eccleston's been doing.
But yeah, an episode about the Doctor attending his own wake, coming a 2-parter of the Brigadier. The first time the Doctor meets the Brigadier, the Ninth Doctor meets the Brigadier. It's very exciting. I can't wait. I love the Brigadier. I love that old man.
he's always fun whenever he's there. You want to take this next one?
The next one is The Lone Centurion, Volume 2, which is what happened to Rory when he was in Auton, wasn't he?
I don't remember what he was, but he was just kind of guarding Amy, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was in Auton.
That sounds right. That does sound right, yeah.
Rory Williams, the Lone Centurion, a man trapped in a body not his own and stranded in history. His one job is to guard the Pandorica, the tomb of his fiancée. But life gets in the way, even when you're immortal. So yeah, it's just giving reasons for Rory to do stuff outside of Pandorica, because I don't know.
What a wild life Rory had.
Like listen to the description of the first episode. Camelot is in trouble. Lancelot is wounded, and Merlin warns that the dark times are ahead. The wizards convinced the solution lies in the mythical Pandorica. Meanwhile, Lancelot owes his life to a humble servant named Rory. I'm sorry, we're bringing in Merlin?
Yeah, cool. Merlin crossover. Let's reboot the Merlin show from 2006 and bring it back.
But I'm secretly hoping that Merlin is actually the 7th Doctor, because if you've watched the 7th Doctor era, it's revealed that Merlin is the Doctor. So
that would be a fun twist. That would be a fun twist. This one's interesting to me, mainly because I really like Rory as a companion. He was one of my favorite companions. I never listened to the first box set of The Lone Centurion though, and so it's very doubtful I'll listen to the second box set before listening to the first one. But I'm glad they're making it. I like Arthur Darvill getting work because I think Rory's great, and it makes me happy.
Yeah.
Next up, Doctor Who Short Trips Volume 11. Oh, it's got Paul McGann on it. It's already my favorite. It's an audiobook anthology of 6 new Doctor Who short stories. A really short description. We've got Rearguard, Messages from the Dead, The Threshold. That's a lot of Doctor Who short stories. So it's just a collection of Doctor Who stories with what we got, the 8th, 7th, and 10th Doctor. I said that in a weird order.
We've also got Roger Delgado's master on it. We've got Adric for some reason, and we've got Sontaran just being like, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah. And it's volume 11 of this. That's a lot of Doctor Who short trips.
Yeah, I'm not interested in this. It's just like 10-minute stories about stuff that's happened to doctors.
It's a really nice box cover though.
Yeah,
it's like it's simplistic, but it's really it's neat. It's just nice on the eyes. I think very very. It's a calming color of pale.
Bit of an odd photo for Sylvester McCoy. It's like a low angle shot, and you can see his like double chins.
I think all the like almost every photo I've seen of the Seventh Doctor has him doing that pose. Like,
and also every Eighth Doctor is exactly the same as well.
Yeah,
like...
yeah. Well, they don't have a lot of photos of the Eighth Doctor, to be fair.
And also the 10th Doctor. I've seen that photo a million times. Just
yeah. They're running short. Okay, you want to take the next one?
Yeah, we've actually got Bernus Summerfield with slender fingers, cats of.
I assumed you were going to skip this and go into the Torchwood, but yeah, we've got this weird ass audio drama they're doing. It's not Doctor Who related at all, surely.
It actually is.
Is it really?
So when the show was cancelled, we started doing like a continuation of it in book form, and Bernus Summerfield was like one of the first book exclusive characters, companions, and then when Big Finish got the rights, we were like, okay, we can't do Doctor Who just yet. We have to do it to a less established character just to prove to the BBC that we could do right with their franchise. So we started doing Bernus Summerfield stories. And yeah,
that I know Big Finish do deep cuts, but that is such a goddamn deep. Do you know how deep a cut it is? On the website for this box set coming out, one person has recommended that people buy this box set. One person. It's not even out yet. And one person's been like, "Oh yeah, you should get this. It's really good." Big Finish. They play to a niche audience.
And the description starts off with, "It wasn't true that you could see the cats from space. It was impossible. A ridiculous idea that wouldn't stand up to even the slightest examination." What?
Interesting. What a deep cut.
But yeah, they've been doing Bernus Summerfield for like 22 years.
Of course they have. Of course they have. I would love to see Big Finish sales for stuff like that. Like how many people have bought that to justify 20 years of Bernus Summerfield? I've never even heard of him before before. Like, it's so wild. Although, to be fair, the way that the Big Finish price their things, you don't need a lot of people to listen to it to get your money back on it.
Okay, this is an audio book, so it's like an audio drama, which is weird, but it's $9.99. That's not bad. How long is it? How long is it? 300 minutes apparently, which
that's a long time.
Yeah, that's not bad price.
Do 6 divided by 30.
Oh God.
It's 5 times. What's 6? How many times does 6 go into 30, Scott?
5
Maths.
hours.
Yeah, there you go.
I googled it.
Really?
Yes.
I said the answer. I said 5 times.
I never heard you. I was too busy googling it.
The next one is Torchwood Sony. Sony is the answer to elderly care. Artificial intelligent robot carers placed in old people's homes that mimic the behavior of their owners. Only there are rumors that something's wrong with the Sony units, that they're too clever, that they're learning too much. Reese sends his mother into a home to find out, but what will it cost him? Well, I don't know who Reese is, but it's nice that he's willing to sacrifice his mother to killer robots to see if they're killer robots.
Reese is the boyfriend to Gwen's character.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So he does Torchwood stuff now.
Apparently. I don't know when this is set. He does kind of join Torchwood at some point, but not really as a member of a team. But I guess he's doing weird robot shit.
Yeah, he's killing old people.
I'm sorry, but when I think of Torchwood, I don't think of artificial robots because they don't deal with that kind of sci-fi, really.
Yeah, but it's not released yet, and 6 people have recommended getting it, which is quite a lot of people. So, a lot of people for Big Finish standards on a pre-order for a Torchwood random ass spin-off. So maybe it's excellent.
I need to get into these one-offs because they sound so bizarre. Like one of the recommended titles is Recent Yanto's Excellent Barbecue. It's just a picture of Reese holding up a hot dog.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, it's interesting. I really want to get into these. They sound like a load of fun, but doesn't quite stick with the canon of a show. They just take their own interpretation and just have a load of fun with it. It sounds fun.
All right, you want to take this? Is this going to be the last one, or are we going to talk about Blake 7?
This is our last one.
This is okay.
Actually, Blake 7 is a Doctor Who. No, I'm joking.
It's made by the guy that made the Daleks, though, isn't it?
Yes,
so
Terry
Nation. It's got Doctor Who connection. But
so the last
Doctor
box
Who
set of this, which is my most anticipated one, it's Doctor Who, the Third Doctor Adventures, the Annihilators. There's something in the water at Leugate Docks. Something strange, green and deadly. The Doctor, Liz, and the Brigadier find their investigations hampered at every turn by the local police. Just what are they trying to hide? And this is a Third Doctor adventure, and is a surprise twist of the Second Doctor being in it. It's a multi-Doctor story, and I'm very excited for this.
And a cover so good, I would have it as a poster.
It's beautiful. It's like a hand-painted cover, and you got the old John
yeah.
Pertwee logo in the background. It's perfect.
It is absolutely stunning. Cannot big up how good this cover looks. It is genuinely, you could frame that, and it's a work of art, honestly.
Yeah, so this is a 7-part adventure, and when it was revealed, the cover was revealed, we didn't have the Second Doctor and Jamie on the cover, as you'll remember. And then suddenly, last minute, we were like, yeah, surprise, bitches, it's a multi-Doctor story. And the Second Doctor is being played by his son, Michael Troughton, which is... I've never heard... I don't think he's done his dad's voice before, but I'm very interested to see how it compares.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it. But that brings us to the end of our news segment, doesn't it, Scott?
Goodness me, that was a long one.
Hang on. Before we do, what one
Yes.
out of the new releases are you wanting to get? I think we forgot to do that last time, but we're doing it again. Here we go. Which one are you most interested in?
I'm most interested in Third Doctor Adventures, the Annihilators. What about you?
I think same, mainly because the cover sold me. Like, if
Yeah.
I was to see that cover in a shop, I'd be like, oh, I'm buying this, without knowing what it is. If I'm speaking honestly, the only one here I'm going to listen to is the Christopher Eccleston box set, because we cover it on the podcast.
Yeah, we have to.
So it would be that one. But yeah, that multi-Doctor story there, that cover has sold me on it immediately. It's, oh my god.
Also, Torchwood Sony sounds fun as hell as well. A good month ahead for a big finish, I think.
Yeah, very good month ahead, especially if you like Blake 7, because there's a lot of that stuff coming as well. We just don't talk about Blake 7.
Yeah, we should do a Blake 7 episode at some point. It's
I
just so
know,
connected to Doctor
yeah,
Who.
I know nothing about the show, so I'd be
Neither
very
do I.
interested. It's all on BritBox. I'm just saying, it's all there waiting for us. But yeah, that brings us to the end of our news segment. It's been a big long month. I think that's possibly the longest we've spoken in the news episode.
Yeah, 100%.
Before just going on to chatting about whatever. But yeah, there's a whole heap of news this month, which is a good old time. But we're going to move into, I don't know, for the next 10 minutes, just chat about what we've been up to and what our lives are like at the moment. So, what you been doing, Scott? How you doing?
What have I been doing? I saw the new Spider-Man. We haven't talked about that yet.
Oh yeah, I saw the new Spider-Man as well. Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think of the new Spider-Man?
I enjoyed it. I think it's incomprehensible if you don't know anything about Spider-Man, but really, really, really enjoyed it because I watched all the Spider-Man movies, so it was a movie for someone like me. It was really good.
Yeah, I think everybody's been speaking about it. It's like one of the biggest films ever, which is very surprising.
Is it though? Because it's got everybody in it, and there's Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
It's a film that didn't let me down expectation wise, and also a film where I hope Marvel have learned marketing, because it's the best marketed Marvel film I've seen in years.
Oh boy, yes.
In that there were no spoilers in the trailer, and the only spoilers were the leaked footage. It was leaked.
Yes.
Of Andrew Garfield on set and stuff like that, which I have a theory it's 100% viral marketing. They leaking it on purpose to get people excited without officially announcing anything.
Yeah, because security on set is tight. They wouldn't
Yeah.
let just a random crew member just film on their
Yeah.
phones like that.
Yeah, they've got, they're doing everything on purpose, but this is a way more exciting way of doing it because you always have that kernel of doubt in your head
Yes.
of maybe they don't show up and maybe it's all lies. I thought that was way more effective than if you think back to Civil War, the trailer, when it's Spider-Man just webs Captain America's shield and goes, "I'm Spider-Man," in the trailer. I don't think he says that exactly, but when they spoiled his reveal in the trailer, I was so annoyed at that.
It took him a couple of trailers to reveal that Spider-Man was actually in the film, I think. Because
It
his
was
first...
the,
So
I think second full-length trailer
Yeah,
that they
'cause in the
revealed Spider-Man.
In the first one, they photoshopped him out of like crowd scenes, which is interesting. They do that a
Yeah.
lot of Marvel films.
Yeah, you can always watch the first trailer of a Marvel film, but usually by the second, they're just
Yeah.
spoiling the film at that point. But I feel like they did a really, really good job with this one marketing-wise, and I was all on board for it.
Remember when The Amazing Spider-Man 2 ends with a shot that was in the trailers? Like, the end shot. Like, I think Amazing Spider-Man 2...
Yeah,
had,
when
like,
he throws the thing at Rhino.
I think Amazing Spider-Man 2 had, like, 70 minutes of footage in their promotional material. I think. Something crazy like that, because I remember Your Movie Sucks got to do his review of it and used a lot of footage, mainly because there is so much of a movie released online.
Excellent. I love Your Movie Sucks. He's so good. Makes good music as well. And Unkindness, you should listen to them. It's very sad, but it's very good. Yeah, I really enjoyed Spider-Man. I also saw Matrix. And I don't think you've seen Matrix yet because you
No.
didn't like the sequels. I personally love the sequels. I love the Matrix series as a whole, and I adored the fourth movie. It's got massive problems. Some parts of it just don't work. The action scenes, genuinely dreadful. Like, terrible action in the film.
Yeah.
But, right?
Uh-huh.
It's awesome. It's so good.
You're not really
so
selling
good.
me on
It's
this.
so good. It's so weird and so weird, but I need to watch it again. I need to watch it again to really form my opinion, but I came away from it being like, it was nothing like I expected it to be. It takes the idea of making a fourth Matrix film and runs with it in really interesting ways that don't always work, but is doing something different, and I really appreciated that. I love the Wachowskis. This one's just Lana Wachowski doing it, but I'll watch anything they make, even if it's dreadful.
Yeah, I keep on meaning to go to the cinema to watch that, but at this point I'm like, I'll just wait till the 4K release.
I've
watch it at
pre-ordered
home.
the Blu-ray. I can't wait.
Of course you did.
I can't wait. I bought the Blu-ray of Speed Racer, which is one of their best films they've made.
Yeah, I didn't get into Speed Racer. I watched like 40 minutes of it. I was just like, this is just too much, man.
It's a visual spectacular. Visual and audio, absolutely spectacular. Story-wise, throw out the window, who cares? Just there for the visuals, because it's amazing.
I think Speed Racer gave me a migraine. I'm not even joking. It's just...
I love it. Love that
film. It was so
film.
much noise.
It is. It's a lot, but it's such an impressive technical masterpiece.
Yeah, I recommend the Animatrix to you because I think that's one of the best Matrix films.
Yeah,
probably the second
doesn't
best.
Doesn't it also? I think it's the Animatrix that introduces the weird ass kid that shows up in the third one.
Yes,
yeah,
and they actually make him decent.
Yeah, they actually introduce him, whereas in the third one he just shows up and he's like, "Neo, hey," and everybody's like, "Wait, who are you? Do we know who you are? Are you the kid from the first one that died?" Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do need to watch the Animatrix. I'm amazed that I haven't seen it yet, but there's just too much.
I've got the DVD. I'll lend it to you if I ever see you again.
We'll never meet in person. I'll buy it. I'll just buy it. I don't want to see you in person.
Okay, ouch.
I don't like imagining you having legs at this point because, I remember how tall you are, but at least when you're on my screen, you're like a couple inches big. So.
That's what she said. But yeah, there was nothing really much else. Dexter came back and it ended, and it had its second bad ending. So yeah, that's how that happened.
I was watching Red Letter Media when they were talking about Dexter, and they were like, I haven't seen the finale yet, but I will by the time I'm editing this, so I'll put an emoji in here of what I thought, and it was an emoji of somebody giving 2 thumbs down. I was like, nice.
It was shocking how bad the ending was. But overall, this last season, so the new miniseries was actually better than season 8 as a whole. Which is Clancy Brown was the villain. I love Clancy Brown, but yeah, it let me down.
Nice. If you want if you want a show that's, I haven't finished it yet. I've watched 4 episodes, but everybody's been raving about it online. Arcane, on Netflix. Sweet Jesus Christ, it is spectacularly good. I put off watching it because it's League of Legends related. And I genuinely don't care about League of Legends in any aspect. But as it turns out, it being League of Legends related doesn't play into anything and isn't important. Just watch it as a piece of fiction, and it is so good. It is like some of the best character work, and the animation's spectacular. But yeah, it'll make you cry. Oh my god, so good.
I keep on hearing about that, but yeah, I think. The fact is, I think video games work better and they're adapted to series like this. It really...
Yeah, well, I think with League of Legends as well, because if you don't know anything about League of Legends, it's a MOBA. So it's like Massive Online Battle Arena is what MOBA stands for. So you just choose a character, you go into a map and you fight. There's really no story. So what they're doing here is they're just taking a character from that game and then giving them a backstory and giving them all this like lore and develop this world and stuff with it. So really it's just it's attached to League of Legends because they're using a League of Legends character for this story they've created, but it doesn't play into the game in any way. And really, it's one of the better ways of doing it, because if you've got a game that's not telling you a story, sure, adapt that into a story. But most games tell a story, so I don't, it's their own form of media, so why bother adapting it? But this is a really good show. Really, really good show.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. I'll probably watch that eventually at some point. I don't know
Watch
when.
it tonight. Watch it tonight. You'll be hooked by the end of episode 3. Episode 1 it was like okay. Episode 2 it was like this is getting better, and then episode 3 blew me away. Like absolutely blew me away. Very, very impressed with this show.
Interesting. Anything else? I can't think of anything else.
No, I'm just very tired. So I guess we will see you next week, dear listeners. What are we covering next week? It is the 9th Doctor box set that'll be coming to your earlobes. It's a pretty fun review, that one. So look. Look forward to that.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm tired. Look forward to that coming out. But in the meantime, this has been Who Watches Who, a Doctor Who podcast. You can get this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. It's also available on YouTube at Who Watches Who. You can find us on Facebook at Watches Doctor, on Facebook at Who Watches Who, on Twitter at Watches Doctor. You can find me on Twitter at Cloth223, and Scott, this is where you start talking now.
Yes, and you can send us an email at whowatcheswho@gmail.com.
whowatcheswhopod@gmail.com.
Yes, it's been a while. At whowatcheswhopod@gmail.com. Great. Do you have any questions about our show? Probably not, because we're not that... Have you
listened? It's hard at the end of the month to come up with prompts to get people to email, but have you listened to any Big Finish stuff? Do you have a favorite Doctor Who episode? I don't know. Is there an episode you'd like us to cover? We'll ignore it because we've got a pretty tight schedule till May, but after then, why not?
Just say hi to us. Just send us a bloody email saying hi, and we'll read it out.
Just send an email saying hi, then a full stop, and then nothing else. Like, don't even say who it's from.
Oh, here's one.
Just hi.
Do you think David Tennant will come back? I forgot his name.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think could you see David Tennant coming back to Doctor Who full time as the 14th Doctor? Do you think they'll have amnesia Doctor?
But only for free specials, according to this guy on Facebook. We're all reporting for some reason.
I love guys on Facebook. They always have the best scoops.
But yeah,
But-
I think that's us.
Yes. Until then, dear listener, I will see you at the same Doctor Who time, the same Doctor Who channel next week. Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.